Stephanie Bartholomew.
I'm so
annoyed. What the fuck with your weird...
I'm so annoyed. I literally just feel like the world is against me right now.
I feel like, I don't know, you're like the host of the chat, so I don't know what kind of settings you have on, but you have like the power of your fingertips to throw confetti and celebration balloons.
I can't literally even throw up a peace sign anymore in peace. My cat is jumping at me. I'm in an earthquake.
You're an animated text message response at this point.
It's annoying. I'm not trying to be an emoji right now. Okay, so Lauren, I wanted to bring a story to the pod before we left last time. And I know we have so many things to catch up on, but if I forget about this one again, I'm going to be upset. So
bring it forward.
And it's Pride Month, so it just feels extra silly.
Okay.
So I have a family group chat, which I know you have one too, and it pops off,
You've got to have one. You've got to have, there's certain group chats that you just need to have, and the fam squad is one. That's what ours is named.
And there's always one that there's one that doesn't respond. Everybody has a rapport. My little sister doesn't respond. My older sister does respond.
Yeah, that's mandate.
Everything we say, moms are like, heart, love, best thing ever.
Aw, XOXO.
So we have a family group chat. And obviously, my parents are in between Gen X and boomers. But my dad's a certified boomer. And
they walk a fine line.
A very fine line. Not my dad. He walks proudly and heavily on one side. And he has really nice cars that talk to you, when somebody texts you, a lot of America does. And
we've heard of her, Siri.
In our family group chat, there was an emoji in there that was added probably by my little sister that was a rock climber after my accident. And so I think actually it might have been after my name specifically. That's probably what happened. So anytime that I texted my dad, it would say text from Stephanie, and it would say non-gendered or non-binary rock climber emoji, this emoji, kisses emoji, but it always said the non-binary rock climber because the emoji I use is non-gendered. It's just a rock climbing, person.
I don't think she's represented enough. I don't think they don't get enough used equally.
Justice for the non-binary rock climber.
Absolutely.
Anyways, so my dad keeps getting texts from me in our group chat, and every time it's like Stephanie, non-binary rock climber emoji,
He's just tolerating this.
And my dad, he definitely is an open-minded man as he can be. I try to teach him my things. He tries to talk to me. And
I always bring it back to the telltale. They're still angry at their parents for what their parents... We're still angry at our parents for what their parents did to them, They're growing.
Exactly. And we live we have more in common than we don't land. But where we don't, he was a little confused because he apparently started reaching out to my sisters and being like, Steph hasn't mentioned anything to me about being non-binary, which impressed he even could say the word, honestly. I was like, good job.
He wanted you to feel seen.
But for a while, we were like, should we just mess with dad and be like, just act like this was the thing to him?
I identify as a non-binary rock climber
emoji.
Honestly, everyone that I tell the story to that's like, oh, you and Steph were rock climbing, I'm like, that's exactly it. So file me under non-binary rock climber. Because anyone that knows me only based off of your injury, I'm like, yes, we were rock climbing as we always did, not anymore.
Yeah, we used to carry just chalk around our waist just in case we saw a good boulder somewhere.
I'm like, Steph ended our rock climbing career, I
did that to us.
Protect my knees at this point.
I did that to us, but eventually,
non-binary rock climber.
Non-binary rock climber girl. So that's who I am, and I eventually did tell my dad that it was just the emoji I clicked, but it was a funny little story that I felt like was perfect for Pride Month, honestly.
I love that. And it just speaks to the dads that we have, that although they can be, like those dads, they're just so easy. You've seen my dad online sleeping in a recliner.
We all have.
Holding
You've all
a doll.
seen your dad sleeping in a recliner.
We've all seen it, and if you haven't, then you've seen your own dad. And I feel like with that, they do have these like leaps and bounds that like they are listening. They hear us, and like they do
they
somewhat.
might be a little confused, but they're trying.
They're confused, and they're like, Jesus, Lauren,
Why didn't you tell me you were a non-binary rock climbing person?
My dad's probably Googling non-binary right now as he listens.
Exactly. No, literally right now.
But it's the fact that they're willing to Google it, for me.
Exactly.
Happy Father's Day and Pride Month.
Happy Father's Day and Happy Pride Month. That's perfect.
We're going to share one aisle at Target.
Exactly.
And that's how we're going to get this country
Rainbows
back
and
in
ties.
shape. That's how we're going to get this country back in the right direction.
My God. My incense is burning like directly in my mouth. It's
so
too
as much as I just want to stay on the topic of that.
We could all day.
I literally could. I have something to bring to the pod. So if you're an OG Rudy, then you know something. And if you are just showing up, then I'm going to tell you something. You
sound like Nora.
I always do.
I'm going to tell you something.
I have a fearful respect for birds. And I feel like I let this out on the pod a lot. Like if I see a questionable amount of crows, I'm like, something's off, the universe is telling me something.
Mm-hmm.
I get very paranoid when it comes to the fowl. Isn't that what you call the birds?
Sure. I'd say yes.
And I feel like this started back with Hey Arnold's with the pigeon lady.
Oh my God, the pigeon lady.
Or the pigeon man. When he got pulled, he was a man. He was a non-binary
pigeon person.
And so he was carried away by the pigeons. And from now on, if I see more than a flock, more than what I consider a comfortable flock, I panic.
You're uneasy.
And there's also certain birds that I admire, and then there's ones that I fear. And the vulture for me, very cool bird. Very scary when it's present.
Yeah, you respect it in a fearful way because you know it could eat your eyeballs out.
And I'm literally just looking for like what is he called? The Grim Reaper from The Sims to come out and just turn me into a
He's on his shoulder.
Canister. There he is, Pigeon Man.
Pigeon Man. Pigeon Man.
There he is. So where all of this started.
Yes.
So vultures. Pretty scary,
very scary.
Not giving a hopeful symbol in any culture. So, lo and behold, I'm just minding my own business the other day, and I look out on my street, and there is a vulture sitting on the sidewalk. Okay, it is.
I was gonna say you don't live in the woods. I
don't live in the woods. Okay, it's on a city sidewalk, and it is loitering. It's pacing a little bit, like it's back and forth. Like somebody was gonna meet it for like somebody was gonna meet it for a marketplace deal. And
I feel like it was gonna do a drug deal on the corner or something.
Something was up, okay. And I'm like looking around, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like what shall I do? And now I see what this vulture's doing. Because first I'm like, impending doom,
Of course.
What's
it's
the
omen.
doomsday clock saying? Like I'm just like, I'm spiraling. And then I'm like, is it me? Am I terminally ill? Is it my time?
My time.
Am I just going to turn into an urn? So
100%.
So I see this small family of bunnies. And if there's another thing about us, Rudies.
We fucking stand for bunnies.
You're not going to fuck with bunnies, okay, on my street.
No, not in her freaking street.
So I get this confidence that only, like a true, like, animal person can. And I just, like, go to the door. And as I'm going to the door, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not Stephanie. Like,
I was going to say, there was a time I went after a fox with my walker. Like, ha!
So I'm just like, this thing could potentially poke my eyes out and just carry me to a cemetery. Like, that's how I feel.
You're not going to let those bunnies get taken.
But I'm like a family of bunnies
at
the sprout of summer. Like, not on my watch. So I slowed down on the porch because I'm like, you're not Stephani. Like, you can't.
I was going to say, I'd be over there already.
Stephani be calling me. She's like, I got attacked by
I'd be like, I got attacked by a vulture. 100%. 100%.
I'm playing that in my head. I'm like, I'm not going to get attacked by a vulture. Not today.
You're learning.
Shit to do. This is my day off.
You're learning.
You know?
That's when I like to get bit, is on my days off. You know that about me.
I'm like, I never saw the vulture.
I never saw that dog.
My sister's vulture is sleeping. It's always sleeping.
I wouldn't wake up my sister's vulture. She's not nice when she wakes up.
So I'm on the porch and I'm sitting there and I'm like, now this is going to be an episode of Nat Geo for me if I don't do something, because now I'm just watching the vulture watch this family of bunnies, and the bunnies are kind of just like standing there doing the stupid ass bunny thing that they do.
Bunnies aren't like, they're so cute, and that's their only defense.
How are there so many bunnies when they can't? They just can't. They just look either like, and like they can literally just die if they're too scared. And I was going to say,
and from what I've learned from taking my bunny to a couple of vets this month, is that bunnies could like literally give a fuck, and they'll just be like,
yeah,
you know?
And I've learned as a human that I can be so scared and nothing happens, you know? So bunnies have
I would have died already.
I can mark that. Mark that off my research. So the bunnies are startled, and I'm like, okay, what could I do? So I just run to my car, and I just start slamming my car door open and shut and open and shut.
I want the Ring camera footage. What was that going to do?
I don't fucking know. But guess what? We locked eyes, me and the vulture.
Okay, Eliza. What'd you say to it?
He turned around, Steph, and he just walked down the street and left.
Why do I feel like all vultures are men?
Why do I feel like he wasn't even there for the bunnies?
He was there for you. He was there for you.
He just looked at me. He was
like, oh my God. It's that
Denny
Duquette episode. He's like, I'm here for you. And you're like, go away. Go take the bunnies. And he's like, I'm here for you.
Well, that's how it felt. All of a sudden, I was like, eat the fucking bunnies. Like,
yeah.
You said you were going to.
I have a family. Like, I have a mortgage, you know?
So I'm out here risking my life, and that's what you wanted? You wanted to, like, call me to a duel in the streets? So I run in the house, and it just walks away. And I don't even really see how it fully exits my street because I'm just panicked.
It's a puff of smoke.
It looked at me, and I just forgot the rest. So I tell my husband all of this, right? Because we're now driving down another, like, not rural area, and we see another vulture, and I'm like, babe, I've just seen a lot of vultures. And he looks at me, and he's just like, he's being the half cup, half full, you know, like, pessimistic person that he is. And he looks at me, and he goes, what are vultures, if not very gothic turkeys?
They're literally emo. They're so emo.
And I'm like, if they're emo turkeys, they're probably just into me. You know?
Yeah,
like,
they're literally, he was checking you out. And you're like, my move? If you were wondering what I would have done in the situation, probably.
I'm wondering.
Plan A would just be to run and yell. That would be plan A. Plan B, if I took a second to think about it and be a little bit safer, pots and pans and just...
I don't know why, but I was like, I love that. See, you're one with the birds.
Yeah.
You are a fowl lady. You're a pigeon lady.
I know what to do. I'd be like,
non-binary pigeon rock climbing person.
That's me.
She's out there. I don't know why. I just thought the door. And he was looking at me like, have you ever fucking worked a door?
I'm just literally picturing you just being like, go away. And he's like, you look so cute.
Meanwhile, all I can think now, as I tell this story to more than one person, is that my neighbors were probably like, there's a vulture on our street, and our neighbor is having breakdown.
Literally having a breakdown. And I'll tell you which one would scare me more.
The vulture. The vulture would scare me more.
You. Just, ugh. Go away.
So that's where I'm at. Vultures are gothic turkeys, and for some reason they're following me around, and I'm going to pretend it's for a good reason.
You know I'm a Raven girl. That's what I'm always looking for. But in the meantime, I think I've already said this. I'm trying to befriend the crows because the crows are really, they don't give me Reaper vibes. They give me like wise, like, but also shit talkers. Like they sit up there in groups and they caw at each other all day talking shit.
Yeah,
they'll rip
like,
up your trash
will she
a little.
Ever find the secrets?
Yes. Will she find the silver nickel?
It will bring her to her destiny. That's
maybe
what crows are doing.
That's
but
the
vultures,
crows.
Grim Reaper. Every time.
Every time. My husband called me out on something that I didn't realize about myself. Who's your celeb funny guy crush? I'm blanking on the name right now.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen. So we're scrolling through Netflix, right? And we're just in like comedy movies, and it's like Wedding Crashers, and it's a few other movies, and I keep pausing, and Luke is like, you are obsessed with Vince Vaughn. And all of a sudden, it fucking dawned on me. I am obsessed with Vince Vaughn. I think I don't know why in my mind it took so long for me to accept this like twin flame that I have with him, but it's finally dawned on me. Like Vince Vaughn.
And I feel like you can either be like a Vince Vaughn gal.
Yes.
You can be like a Seth Rogen gal. Feel like they were up and coming at the same time.
Or you're like a James Franco girl.
Or a Will Ferrell, I was going to say.
Well, that's a really interesting type of gal.
That's a niche.
That's really niche. If you're
but I meant for comedy. Like I feel
I was going to say
like they all are we marrying and killing them?
Yeah, but let's not include Will because that's too easy. Let's do James.
Well, we're like, the thing about Will Ferrell is we're gonna invite him to our wedding.
She's a Will Ferrell girl.
No, I'm saying he's like an uncle to me. You know,
so you're gonna kill him.
You are going to kill him. That's why I'm saying he doesn't live in like a sexy caliber. But I was talking about like in a comedy caliber. Like I feel like they were all pumping out like these franchises of movies and you kind of fell into one box.
So James Franco, Vince Vaughn, and Seth Rogen, Marry, Kill.
I'm going to try. I'm going to marry Seth Rogen. And fun fact, his wife's name is Lauren. So anything embroidered we can keep.
You're like, keep the towels. They're nice.
I think about that a lot. I'm like, if me and Seth ever ran into each other, you know, we wouldn't have to get rid of the monogrammed things.
No, you're like, I love emerald green, and so did other Lauren.
And I
it's
feel
like Ron Swanson and Tammy #1 and Tammy #2.
I feel like he's like thrifty enough to be into that, you know?
Exactly.
So I'd marry him.
He's open-minded.
I was going to say I would try to F him and James Franco. Cool.
You can't knock a girl for trying.
You can't come after me for that. You've seen Pineapple Express. You've seen what other one with This Is the End, you know.
Yes.
Is it called This Is the End?
Yeah, he has a careless hotness to him. Like, you know,
they both do.
He's so weird, but he's like carelessly hot.
Yeah, like,
you know,
he's gonna wear pajama pants out, and I'm gonna be like sickly into it for some reason.
James Franco could be in any like that. Literally him. You could put him in any city in the world, and he could be there. Like he could live there.
Yes.
He could method act there without anybody paying him. So you're killing Vince, is what you're saying?
I'm gonna kill Vince, but like Will, I'll let him sit at my uncle table.
I'm gonna marry Vince. I'm also going to try to F James, and, you know, that's just something we'll have to get through together. And then I'm going to have to kill Seth, although he could sit at my table, you know? He could sit at my table.
I don't know why I feel so
uncle.
strongly about all of these men that I don't really want any of them dead. Like, I feel like these are the founding fathers of modern comedy, so I don't really want to kill any of them. And I just thought, like, Kevin Hart lives in this caliber, too.
Totally.
Because he's been in a movie with every single one of them and then also has his own niche.
Yes.
He's the Voldemort of the founding fathers of comedy. You're welcome.
He's a good voice actor, too. I'll give him that. I'm trying to think of who else
and so is Eddie Murphy. Eddie
Murphy is a classic.
He can be a zebra anytime.
I love Eddie Murphy.
He's the zebra in Madagascar, right? No,
he's the donkey in Shrek.
He's the donkey in Shrek. Who is the zebra in Madagascar?
It's Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, yes.
Another he's up there. We have many founding fathers.
I was going to say, Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy make great, like, voiceover cartoon voices. And so does, what's his name? I'm blanking. The one that's been, like, in so many now.
Who? In what? Oh, my God. The one that plays Olaf?
Yes.
He's in everything now. Anytime I see an animated movie, I'm like, what the fuck is Olaf doing here?
But he's not going to be on my F, marry, kill list.
He's not on my F, marry, kill.
I don't want to kill Olaf, but I don't want to do anything else with
I don't want
him.
to do anything except literally go sledding with Olaf and, like, save Arendelle, you know? That's all. Good, clean fun.
I love that.
I have something else to talk about.
What else would you like to talk about?
I threw a birthday party.
You did.
Because my baby's turning 8 tomorrow in real time, which is obviously super exciting. But I had a very witchy party this past weekend, which in true witchy fashion, we got the rain. But in spite of the rain, I got the world's dopest bounce house. I said, F your rain. We're going to jump in it, because that's the thing with having a backyard birthday party. I think as a December baby, I was always so jealous of, like, the yard parties. Like, I always wanted to have a pool party or a yard party and just hang at that house with my friends.
And it's so funny because as a May baby, I felt the opposite. I always felt like my mom was like, the yard it is. And I was like, I just want to have it at the skating rink.
To the skating rink. And you're like, literally the 4th time at the skating rink, you're like, I wish it wasn't December, you know? So we had a backyard party, but we've been rained on our parade before. So we get the tents going, you know, we know the drill, and we have a large, beautiful oak tree that covers most of the yard. So we were able to make the best of that. But my favorite part of this whole thing was that Nora was like, I want to have a potion situation. And I was like, I'm born for this.
Yes.
I'm fucking born for this. I literally put my whole heart and soul to this. This was literally my pride and joy. While everybody was setting up, I was just sitting there setting up my tinctures, my mermaid scales, my elixir, you know, and
it's really not about Nora at this point.
one kid says, "Can you do the witch voice?" And all of a sudden I was
she
like,
needs no more ammo.
I was in, you know, fucking high-waisted jeans, and I'm like, gather round, children, and gather the elixir, you know? And I just had so much fun, and it was the first party where we had quite a few school friends, which has been really nice to see. Nora's kind of come up with, like, a girl gang, because for a while, Lennon was her really only friend at a lot of her early parties, you know?
Where it all came from. Our kids had no friends.
Our kids had no freaking friends, literally.
A la a global pandemic. It wasn't our fault.
So this is like foreign to me, because my friends that do have kids don't really live around, and Lauren and I get together, but that's, you know, that's our own little group thing that we do all the time. And to see her with like a group of school friends that she like hangs out with and does like girly things with, I don't know, it did something for me that just made me feel very, very happy, and just like to know that she kind of has found her way, and to like get a glimpse in on the silliness that is her childhood was just exciting. So I had myself such a good time, but the thing was that everybody had to come at different times to my party.
That was the whole thing. So June is the new spring, okay? Because it just rains and the weather's awful, and I don't know. We're counting how many weekends in a row it rains.
It's only sunny on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then by Fridays they're like, mm-mm.
And I don't even think this is a Northeast issue at this point. I think this is like a national thing that we just always have rain all the time. Like, if you're in a drought, let me know, because not us.
Not us.
Not lately.
Not us.
And that was the thing, is that there was so much going on, and for some reason it doesn't quite feel like mid-June. Like, I
could not believe.
April.
I could not believe. I remember a few weeks ago being like sending you voice messages manically and being like, I am so ahead of the game this year. I'm like, I am building potions. I'm thrifting. I'm being so smart about it. Pan to me the week before ordering a fucking bounce house, you know? Like,
yes.
I don't know where June came from.
June came from nowhere. And then I had this shocking revelation that my best friend's baby was going to turn 1. And that his birthday lands in June. And of course, a birth doesn't interfere with birthday parties.
No.
But then once they have a birthday party that you have to put on the calendar, things get sticky.
Lauren learned this year to be more communicative between us.
Yeah.
She learned real hard.
Because my 2 best friends both handed me
because we're on opposite sides of the same weekend. So, like, there's just a 50% chance that both of us choose that weekend.
And boom, the birthdays were on the same day. And not just the birthdays, also the beginning of my child's tech week for theater. It's a small...
Which if you know, you know.
So Saturday is a blur. It was rainy. I know that.
Yes.
But it's a blur. And the first blunder of all my blunders, which I have to tell, is that I got to the first party late because I thought that both of the parties started at 1.
Lauren was using very selective hearing with both of us because...
Well, I was... So if you've seen my unread text messages, Rudy's, I'd like to come to the stand.
Oh, okay? Here she goes.
When I get overwhelmed, I look away. I don't remember. I don't open things.
She look at them and she don't remember. That's my sister.
I don't remember, Your Honor.
And I believe you.
But truthfully,
I believe you.
Like the fact that they were on the same day was so triggering to me that I barely could hang on to any of the other details of your parties.
It was so funny to me.
Because I wanted to be there for both of you in like the same but different ways.
Of course. Which you did come to the, I think personally, the best conclusion. You were like, Amanda needs me in the daytime when her baby's like awake, you know?
Yes, and I'm like, this is her first birthday party, you know, like I gotta be there for the opening, for the cake, for the, you know, like I've gotta take the overwhelmed family photo that nobody else is gonna get of her. You know?
Yeah,
like,
I missed that this year. I missed
Welcome,
that.
Amanda.
I fucking missed the cake picture. I'll get them next year.
But like, it's those little things in a first birthday, and it was so good to be there for her. And it was rainy, and like you could tell that she was like, it's rainy, but it's like you can plan the party, but you can't pick the weather. And like that's such a sentiment to parenting that like no matter what you do, no matter how great things are, you plan, you buy, you store, you make, and then something is bound to go wrong. But, like, when you see how many people gathered under tents to be there for this little human's first birthday, and, like, we made vegetable masks that he was absolutely horrified by. My husband spent hours making me a radish mask.
Oh, my God. That is, like, scary, though.
And baby Luca was just like, ah! But it was just so good to be there for him and to be there for our best friends and to just like have that moment.
Of course.
But of course it was rainy, it was cold. The kids, Lasky was just like chasing other kids with a stick as she does. Like they had a blast, but like they ran themselves ragged.
And then they had to pivot into your middle of the day, which was theater. I
kissed the top of her head. I said, you did a perfect job. Everything is beautiful. Your baby's beautiful. 1 year down. A bunch more to go. Love your family. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Took a slice of pizza. She dropped a whole pizza on my porch later. I was pizza bombed. And that was the end of that. Now we just looked forward to theater. Yes. We plowed through theater. And I have to say that we spent a lot of time in the car. And this is what I want to bring up in the middle of our birthday stories. So I pick up Lennon from theater and we get the family back in the car. And like, we've done this in a very strategic way. Like we laid down the baby. Cause like I said, she was soggy. She's like under a tree. Like Amanda put up a tent and she put like these nice tarp, like blankets down, and she put like all these waterproof toys for the kids to play with. Pan to Alaska just in the corner of the yard with a stick in her hand, just jabbing it at other people.
Eating mud, probably.
She had to be laid down for a while, so she laid down. When I grabbed them all, we're like, we don't have time for like because we usually do music rotation. I know you guys do the same thing.
Yes, we do.
You each pick a song. You know the rules.
Exactly.
And
everybody knows the rules. One song.
We don't have time for this shit. Get in the car. We got to get to Nora's party. Nora's after party, her fifth party.
So all of her school friends had left really at this point, I believe. And I had my other best friend, Tori, was there, who also kind of came. She came towards the end of the party. That was my second party that she started, where she came because, like you said, everybody just has things in June. So you want to be there for everything, but you can't always be there at 12 o'clock. So they came in the middle, and then you guys came, I don't know, around 4:30 or so, probably.
Yes. And as we're driving in, I'm telling my kids, like, we don't have time to pick a song. We put on the Spotify DJ, and I want you to weigh in on this. I know you have Spotify.
Of course I do.
Spotify DJ with kids sucks. Try to prove me wrong.
Of course.
He's like, I heard you really like It's
you heard
Raining
wrong.
Tacos.
You heard fucking wrong. You heard wrong.
I'm like, get me out of this car, DJ. Get me out of this car, Spotify DJ. I don't want to hear another Frozen song.
Because then once they hear it, it triggers them to just sing it or ask for more obnoxious songs. And you're like, no.
So it's like 4:30, right? We're listening to like the chicken wing, because that's what Spotify DJ thinks
cool.
I want from him. He's like, I heard you really like the chicken dance. I'm like, nobody said that.
Like, I fucking hate you.
And then every once in a while, he'll be like, this is some smooth sounds from MGK. And I'm like, okay, you got me like, a little bit, a tiny bit. So as we roll up, like, chicken wing is playing in the back seat. My husband, like, slams the car into park, and he's like, we're going in there. And we're going to have fun. But you decide how much fun we have.
That's right.
Because my kids were glazed over. And I swear, this is one thing about our kids is as they get bigger, like, I really see them, like, showing up for each other. Like, Alaska
Definitely.
can't show up for herself. Like, we're going to omit her.
No.
She's, like, drooling. She's trying to sing along with It's Raining Tacos. It's bad. The DJ's like, I heard you wanted to hear
She bit
Kesha.
somebody, probably. Herself, even.
Yeah, she has someone else's, like, blood on her cheek.
She is Kesha.
She literally is loving not only Pitbull now, but also Kesha. And I'm like, you were born for the early 2000s.
She
I'm
truly
sorry.
was. She would have loved a heavy bronzer. She would have loved it.
She would have identified as a Snooki. She would have been like, I'm such a Snooki.
She is Snooki.
So
drunk off the beach.
She's all glazed over, so the pep talk isn't really for her. And I'm like, Lennon, I know that you didn't, because she was like, she watched Luca not blow out his candles, because nobody, when their one blows out their candles, they do that thing where everyone's like singing to them, and they're like,
exactly.
And then their mom's like, yay! You know?
Exactly.
And before they cry. So she watched that, and I think something in her brain triggered that she wasn't going to see Nora blow out her candles. So she's like,
because she's always next to Nora's side, blowing out the candle participant.
And she's such like she's a sentimental
gal.
Like, she doesn't want to miss out on those things.
She loves Hanukkah because it's sentimental to her.
She literally
eat chocolate with
Steph,
Nora.
who's the half Jew, is like scrambling around trying to give me a date that we can celebrate Hanukkah. Because
I'm
my
like, what
kid
day is good for you?
My kid's
whatever's
like, I have
good
my
for
dreidel.
You is good for me and the Maccabees. Whatever works for you.
My kid has her gold coins from her Italian nana.
But that's sad and sweet.
And as she's getting out of the car, she's like, I'm just going to act like this is her birthday party. And I was like, that's what it's all about. That's where we're going to get in there. And she went in there and she made your potions.
She did.
You put on another voice for us at 5:45.
I wasn't done.
Nobody knew you were doing a 5:45 show.
Well, my accent had kind of lost its, direction. It might have been giving a little bit of Australian in there. Who knows?
Steph literally came up and she's like, I did a great potions voice earlier, and I don't know if you're gonna get this.
I don't know if you're familiar with this dialect, but it's of a house you've never heard of. And I was so wet at this point too. I'm just like, this is what I have. But
and
I'm gonna give magic.
Is that like the bouncy house was wet? The potions table had a layer of dew on it that was questionable, but like the kids were truly playing like it was Nora's birthday party.
Like it was the first round.
And Nora was like, so you could tell like she had had a day, but she was not ready to come down. So she was like, thank God you're here. Like you could tell that if she was not having an after party with my kids and Tori's kids, that she was going to be having an after party by herself. So it was like, it was truly the best case scenario for everyone. And like I told you,
it kept the party going.
And as special to me as it was to be there earlier in the day for Amanda and her first birthday, you know, like thing, it was important for me to be there for you at the end of the day and to see our bigger girls who are like those let's hang out and do our own thing.
They are. And like they're comfy and cozy with each other. Like they're just silly, you know?
And it felt like the most hectic day, and the person that was most understanding of me was my Spotify DJ, so that wasn't saying a lot.
The bar was so low.
But when it came down to it, the day just felt nice. Like I really was like all week I was trying to like not stress out you and Amanda because you're my best friends. You were going through a lot.
We were both stressed regardless.
And then
we were
also
both watching the weather app 5 minutes apart from each other. Like no.
Me and Amanda's mom, because Amanda was like the rain was supposed to stop, and you know like when your party,
we were doing the same thing.
I've had a party in the rain, and like it does feel personal. You're like, this is something that I brought you all here to.
All the grandparents are just huddled under a tent together. Like, this is nice.
But they're
you did a good job.
loving it. Like, they're loving it. Like, the baby's eating a smash cake. They're like beautiful decorations, you know?
Because it is. Like, we do so much. Like, I'm sure Amanda thought of every single detail because that's what we do. And I know there's this movement and it's like, you know, don't put that pressure on yourself. It doesn't have to be fancy or this or that, but for me it's never about the fanciness. It's about the little details that mean something to us and to our kids, and that's what makes it beautiful.
And that's the thing. And like even it comes right down to like themes. Like of course you love being a witch or a wizard or whatever accent that was that you were doing at 5:45.
Witch person.
A
magic person.
Magi. Witch magi. And
you've heard of them.
But that was what you truly knew your daughter would want. And, like, I mean, all the details were so cute. And, like, Amanda is planning this first birthday. And, of course, there's, like, people are so far-fetched with their themes. They're like, what a catch.
They're like, what can I put one in?
Par. One so par. And, like, I love it.
My baby loves golf.
I salute you. There are all different ways to one. But I loved that as a mother, she was like, my kid loves those dancing fruit.
Loves vegetables.
And although I don't want to watch those dancing fruit and they're not very aesthetic, all like for months, me and her were just on Pinterest boards, like aesthetic dancing fruit birthdays. There aren't any. She somehow made it so pretty. And like you said, it's those, you don't want to say like, going hard is what you have to do.
Totally not.
But if it's what fills your cup, if you can stand back and say, I did this for my kids and it was personalized and it was what they truly wanted, then like you already won. Fuck the weather. It's gonna rain.
Fuck the weather.
700 Saturdays in a row or whatever.
Thing. I think we've talked about this trend before with instead of giving like a bag, there's the table where you get to pick little things.
Yes.
So this was kind of Nora's favorite thing. I think one of the things that really defines her, she's a tinkerer, she's a collector, and she likes little gadgets and little trinkets and little lucky things.
She's a goodie bag girl.
And she has, you know, those wooden Michaels boxes that you paint.
Oh,
she has one that
I have 4 to 5 of them.
You have 45 of them on the first floor of your home.
At least 30 of them are from Nora.
I was going to say, she loves to paint a box and give it to you. So she has one that has like very special little trinkets in there. So for her birthday, we were like, let's get little kind of trinkety things that people can kind of take and pick. And after the birthday party, Nora said to me, she was like, Mom, thank you so much for doing that. And I think it's that. Like, it's not about anybody else. It's about making that special moment for your kids with the dancing fruits and vegetables or the witchcraft or the non-binary rock climbers. Whatever they're into, you will find a way to put the age of your baby in it and make it a theme because we're millennials, baby.
Like, this is too good to be true.
Too good to be true.
But I love that. And I will say that with goodie bags, Lennon immediately said, Dinga did such a good goodie bag. And that's what she calls my other best friend. She's like, Dinga did such a good job. So I'm like, I'm getting on the horn with her right now. I text no one back, but I text you and Amanda and my mom violently.
Or not at all.
Sorry, everyone else. I'm just so busy texting them.
Violently or not at all.
So I'm texting her like, you did such a beautiful job. Blah, 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 and I'm like, and Lennon said 10 out of 10 goodie bags. And she's like, that's all I needed to hear.
That's all you needed to hear.
And you, because with every good day, there's a good lesson. You know?
Yes, there is.
And my kids had a long ass day, as I just reported, and it was beautiful at every stop. And of course, they left the first party so gracefully. Like, I gave them their roses on that. We got in the car and I was like, bravo. You know, like,
so together out there.
Do your kids ever just leave with you voluntarily and you're like, what a mother I am?
Yeah,
you know?
I'm like, this is easy. This is so easy.
I'm like, I probably look like I'm in an LL Bean catalog right now.
100%.
You know? A Bog catalog.
I trained them well.
I'm like, come on, kids. And they just come. And they did.
I'm not even crooked.
Your party exit was a wee bit different. You weren't even there, so it didn't even happen for you.
I wasn't even. You guys left really gracefully, I felt.
So I'm outside because... So Steph did this thing where she hosted like this 5th party. She ordered a boatload of Chinese food, and it was really nice. Like, we were all just sake, we ate Chinese, and we hung out. Yes. So in that, like, we went and got some things from outside, but like, we didn't clean up. So at the end of the night, I'm like, Steph, I'm gonna help you clean up because it's at the point where, like, if someone didn't help me, I would just go to sleep, and I'd be like, whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens. That's magic.
You know? Happy birthday, raccoons.
Mm-hmm.
So we're outside cleaning up. Well, before we went outside, we covered the children in makeup because they asked to. And, like, we're just not...
They asked to. That's important.
They did. And
they begged, some would say.
Yeah, so they're, like, bedazzled on the eyebrows. We all went for a similar look for them. Heavy. Heavy on the eyeshadow.
Well, there was one moment when Vanna, Tori's daughter, looked at me, and she's cute because she's at that age she's a few years younger than the big girls, so she wants to be the big girls, you know?
Yes.
So she was like, I had just done Lennon's makeup, which was, you know, it was vibing. And she goes, I want more than her. And I go, okay, you know?
Like, what would you like? She's like, more.
More. I say, say less. I've got you.
So we put a whole Wet n Wild palette on them.
Literally.
And we head outside, and I'm like, let's just take down what we can. You know, like, it doesn't have to be pretty. But it's like 30 minutes of potion
and
classing.
It's dusk.
And it's dusk. And Stephanie didn't go light on... She didn't go light on the streamers and the razzle dazzle.
I really popped off on the decor.
Well, I come back in, and you can tell. Things aren't great.
We've lost them. We've lost
my
a few
husband's
soldiers.
just sort of looking at me in a way that's like, I know you're being there for Steph, but
they're gonna lose it. We're gonna lose one of them.
So I go in there, and my little one, who also had eyeshadow and a bedazzled brow,
is her request,
looking truly Kesha in her peak form, just rubbing her eyes violently, and she's just screaming that she doesn't want to go home. And my husband looks at me, and he's like, I've made no reference about going home. And then I'm like, well, then we should go home.
Then definitely. Wait, I'm trying to find. I know that there's a perfect representation.
They're
Go
inside
ahead.
So Stephanie has a mini trampoline inside of her home. I want you to know that.
I have multiple trampolines.
It has a zipped cage around it. So one thing that my kids do to weaponize the exit is they lock themselves into the zipped trampoline. LOL, come in, old stupid lady, is what they're saying. So I unzip it, and my husband kind of yanks the baby out. She's screaming at the tops of her lungs that she doesn't want to go home.
She's snooky.
That she doesn't want to take off her makeup, that her makeup is hurting her, but she doesn't want to take it off. Like, she's just verbalizing all of this through her hysteria.
Yes.
My older daughter, who really just seemed oblivious to the entire thing up until the moment that she decided to be part of the problem. She becomes the JWoww. Enter JWoww.
Who knew that
defending Snooki in a way that she doesn't need to be defended?
That's my sister. That's my sister.
She looks at my husband. She's like, "That's my sister."
And she also has the full face of makeup, you know.
And it's like it's got a little sweat smear on the side, so you know, like she's not working with a full deck at this point, you know. No. So she's like, "No, that's
she's
my
not
sister.
The best advocate.
Leave her on the beach, you know. She deserves to be on the beach."
Exactly.
And Alaska's like, man, and I am just like standing there trying to take this in because 2 minutes ago, me, you and Tori were like laughing outside, cleaning up,
just having like a nice time,
like cleaning up half-eaten cupcakes with our mouths. There she is, everyone. America's sweetheart. That looks like an advertisement for toddlers and tiaras. Honey boo boo baby. Feed her a pixie stick and get her on the main stage in 10.
She's ready. Well, that was funny. So, finish your story, but I have an after story.
But wait. So Steph's gone. She's not even witnessing this. And I'm like, guys, we just have to get out of here. And everyone else is
I was taking Nora's 8th birthday photo shoot.
And everyone else is doing like the only helpful thing that you can do in this situation, ignoring it. Like that's the only way to help. Like that is one thing that I will say that millennials have come such a far way with. Like remember being at a family event and just everyone started parenting you and you're like, what the fuck?
You're like, that's the last fucking thing I need right now. Like literally just carry on with your day.
Yeah.
Talk about the rain.
You're like the uncle, he's gonna yell at me. Like,
yeah. Fuck off.
So everyone's just ignoring that it's happening. My husband looks at me and he's like, I am going to remove them. And I'm like, I think we have...
Forcibly.
I'm like, I think we have 3 minutes. So I throw everything in my bog bag. We say our goodbyes. I hug your husband, kiss Lukey, say goodbye to our friends. Out the door we go. Okay? Yes. Still so sad. So sad.
Of course.
Out we come. Stage left. It's cleaned. There's no more tables, just tarps. Your daughter's having a photo shoot for her birthday, as she does. You are the photographer, and your sister is her assistant.
Exactly. We were doing the whole thing.
We approached the tree.
We were in bliss.
My kids just start taking pictures.
No, this was the part I wanted to say. So
with your kid.
So I didn't know, like, I'm always going to take Len inside. That's just the thing about me. But I didn't see Lennon doing any problems. I'm not going to pretend I didn't see Alaska cause any problems. I'm not going to say that. But
I'm not going to pretend that her bedazzles weren't in her hair.
Lennon didn't even do anything, for one. And for two, she comes out and I'm like, let me take a couple of pictures of you and Nora together under this little 8 tree. They start posing, you know. Alaska goes, I'm being it.
She's still sort of crying because she always is. She's like, I'm being it. But me and my husband are like, and now I like get an attitude with you because I'm like, what the fuck, Steph? Like it was just fucking World War III in there.
You're mad that it's so easy.
Drip sweat. If I had eyeshadow on, it'd be all over. And then you're just like, smile, girls, and they're like. But with that very smooth exit that you assisted with, my kids forgot something. And I got to be like, na boo boo, stick your head in doo doo.
This is what happens when you be crazy.
So my kids wake up, and of course they're like, ooh, let's look at all of our goodies. Like we went to I told you both, like you both had like Kardashian level grab bags, you know, like there was a plush in Amanda's, there was a wand in yours, there was a whole fucking thing. I'm like, who has the budget in 2025, you know, to put more than one chocolate bar? You know, these girls are wild.
These girls be acting crazy.
So we're opening the goodie bag, and Lennon looks at me, and she's like, my potion. Now, it's like 6:45 in the morning. She's like, my potion. And I'm like, what potion? She's like, my potion. From Norris, my potion. Text Stephanie. I'm like, okay, it's Father's Day.
It's Father's Day.
Because both of my best friends conveniently located their kids' birthdays the day before Father's Day.
It's always going to be a thing.
Yeah, let's put that shit on the Google Calendar next year.
I know. We should have. That one's on us. That one is on us.
That one's on you
we
guys.
Should have done better.
Should be on you guys.
We should have done better. That was irresponsible.
My kid gets that look in her eyes that the kids get when they're about to fucking lose it. And she's tired.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. We're crying over fucking Stephanie's magic healing potion.
Because it was so fucking bomb.
And she's just looking at me. And you're like, Lauren, I'm looking. I'm
sending her multiple potions. I'm shaking them. I'm like, is this it?
Is this one it? Is this one it? And finally, you're like, Lauren, it's Father's Day. And I'm like, Steph, find the fucking potion.
Yeah, she's like, it's literally fucking, look, second of all, I couldn't stand up this day.
I'm like, I will send a vulture to your house.
She's being so fucking aggressive.
Courier vultures to your home to attack you right now
potion.
If you don't find this potion. And yeah, you're hurting. And finally I look at Lennon and I explain this to her. I'm like, girl, this day ain't about any of us or our potions. Like, we just gotta push through. And you're like, I will redeem this and I will make her a better potion. So
of course.
In the meantime, I've decided to switch the rhetoric and I'm like, you know
She's
what?
Gonna give a lesson.
I'm a magi with knowledge. I don't have potion, but I have knowledge.
This is a learning moment.
And they gather around, young magi. So I tell my kid, listen, I'm not saying that this is your fault.
We're not going to call it karma.
I am saying that when you leave somewhere in a calm demeanor, you tend to remember more of your items. You know?
Yes. There's a correlation.
We've all left somewhere in a tizzy.
Yes.
And we've all left behind
your wallet.
Your pocketbook. Your firstborn. Like
a whole diaper bag. Lauren, I think
like,
2023.
I'm like, I'm only rashing on you because I've been there.
Yes, I've been there before.
Yeah. And this is a cautionary tale because someday you're going to leave something bigger than your potion. And she looks at me and she's like, what is bigger than my potion?
Nothing. Not Father's Day.
I'm like, nothing. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Don't even make Dad a card. I don't know. It's 8 a.m. on Father's Day. What are we doing
Let's go to
here?
Michael's. Let's go to Michael's
what
right
are we
now.
Doing? Like, Father's Day's canceled. Call Hagrid.
I wouldn't allow it.
So she looks at me and she's like, yeah, I get that, whatever. So we get to the resolution. So you're like, oh no, Laura, nobody's going to leave my fucking birthday parties without a goodie bag.
First of all, I was kind of mad at Lauren. I was like, oh, so you just don't want her to have my potion, my grab bag.
You're
Funny.
like, I love that you're teaching your kid, but don't use me as a lesson.
I'm like, literally, don't use me as a pawn in your fucking parenting lesson. Don't bring this into the best fucking grab bag I've ever made. How dare you?
So Steph just starts making my kid a better grab bag.
With an updated wand.
The wands that came in late, she's like, Lennon is going to be so happy that her potion was
I'm
was
like,
given.
everything happens for a reason.
She's like, the wizard took Lennon. She's like building Lennon a backstory. She's like, they took her potion.
There was dark magic in the first potion.
And they left her the Elder Wand.
Yes.
So today, needless to say, my kids learned nothing because they got some like kick-ass grab bag that wasn't even available. Limited edition swag bag.
It was limited edition.
Filled with, I think, some of like your staple decorations. You gave them.
I had to give Alexa.
You just gave my kids some of your home decor.
Well, the thing was, I'm a thrifty gal, so I had found the coolest bottles. If you ever want to do a witchy party and you're like, potion bar sounds dope, Savers, any thrift store, Dollar Tree have the coolest little glass bottles. So I just grabbed an assortment of those. And then my sister's been over ordering glass for her wedding and just giving it to me. So I was really going for like cool, magi points with Lennon.
Yes.
And I was like, here's the elixir in the bottle.
And you won.
And
you
I
won. Nobody learned anything. Thank you so much. And there are two ways to party. Like there's that gathering and making it resourceful and putting personal touches. And then there's sometimes like throwing your Jeff Bezos credit at it and saying, you know what? They've got all the decorations I need. pink and green.
I'll bring the pizza.
Throw it up on the walls and I'll pay for the pizza. And neither of them are wrong. And both of them are showing that you're there for your kid.
Yes.
But there was a third birthday party on
party?
Saturday.
Oh my God.
Donny, I'm sorry that your birthday party sucked.
Wait. No.
But I'm not
Literally,
sorry.
I'm not sorry at all, but my friend Bianca texted me and she goes, "What the fuck is wrong with me? Why am I feeling sad looking at this old piece of shit man with no one at his birthday party?"
He deserved it.
But I hate to see an old man sad, and that's what he is, a sad old man.
His mom put together 0 goodie bags, and nobody came. Maybe if she would have given them the little army men in a bag, people would have come to his parade. Ever thought of that, Donny?
If I had designed the grab bags for his birthday party, more people would have showed up.
Absolutely. If you would have made a goodie table and it just had like tiny little American flag pins.
What would you put in it? Tiny American flag pins.
Mm-hmm.
Probably tiny little walls.
I feel like his crowd loves the hats, so maybe a hat that says like Daddy Donny.
Ooh, Daddy Donny's big Bday.
HBD Daddy Donny.
HBD Daddy Donny.
And then that would be like the vessel, and then it'd have one of those little military men with the parachutes on it, because I'm not over parachutes yet.
Are your arms okay?
And maybe a plane. I look jacked. Steph.
Are you okay? Are you swelly right now?
I'm actually putting together like a multi-level marketing workout class, and it's just flicking a 90s parachute.
Stop.
We're going to open stores nationally. It's self-led.
I love it.
I love it. I was going to announce it at Donny's birthday party, but I didn't want to go.
The party was just everybody getting together and doing the parachute. I love that. That's beautiful. Call us,
It would have
Donny.
been a better party, Donny.
It would have been a better
Call
party.
us next time.
Yes. We did it.
We did it.
Okay. Stop recording.